Welcome back to the Aquarian. I hope everybody had a good holiday if you're in America, or just a good weekend wherever you are. I wanted to come back on to talk about the next big shift that's happening in astrology. It happened yesterday. Uranus entered Gemini for the first time in 84 years. And it will go back into Taurus for about 6 months, from November 2025 to April 2026. And that'll be the last time we'll see the big seismic changes that come with what Taurus represents. And I'll go over that in just a bit. But this is the beginning of a 7-year cycle, because Uranus takes about 7 years to get through each sign. And it's going to challenge how we think, how we speak, learn, and process information. This is not just an intellectual shift. It's a fundamental rewiring of the way our minds interact with the world around us. And to understand the gravity of this transit, let's first talk about Uranus in general. Uranus is the planet of awakening, disruption, and innovation. It doesn't ask permission. It breaks the mold. And wherever Uranus moves, it interprets patterns that have grown stale or rigid or outdated. And it's the force behind revolutions, personal and collective. And it often acts through sudden change, insights, or even chaos. Where Saturn builds structure, Uranus strikes them down through lightning. Where Jupiter expands, Uranus liberates us, electrifies us, and shocks us into new awareness. It governs everything from technological breakthroughs to social upheavals, and it's the future cracking through the present. On an individual level, Uranus wakes us up. It brings experiences that challenge our comfort zones so we can see clearly what no longer serves our growth. That clarity doesn't always come gently, because Uranus changes are rarely linear. They feel abrupt, unexpected, and even destabilizing. But after the dust settles, we often find that something essential has been realigned with who we truly are. Before we get into how Uranus will impact us individually, let's take a look back at what happened while Uranus was in Taurus. So from 2018 to 2025, Uranus transited Taurus. And again, like I said, it will be back there for about 6 months, but it's pretty much in Gemini now for the next 7 years. But that time brought major disruptions to our material world, food systems, the body, nature, and the economy. The pandemic is the most obvious example. A virus attacked the body, global food chains fractured, trade slowed or stopped, travel halted, but even as these systems fell apart, new ones were born. Remote work, new ways to deliver food, AI, and cryptocurrency also became mainstream. We were forced to evolve in how we survive and build security. Now Uranus has moved into Gemini, and the focus shifts from the body to the mind. Gemini, ruled by Mercury, governs communication, language, perception, learning, and connection. It is how we process and share information. Uranus in Gemini will affect the nervous system of the collective, because Gemini and Virgo both call back to the nervous system. We're already seeing the signs, right? Misinformation, media breakdowns, AI-driven content, and children struggling with social and cognitive development. We may be heading into a mental crisis, not of the body, but of the intellect, of our speech, meaning making. The mind is now the site of disruption. And like before, innovation will be born from this tension. So who's gonna feel Uranus's energy first? It will definitely be the mutable signs. So that's Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius, and Virgo. You all are going to feel a lot of tension. And then also the air signs, Libra and Aquarius, because Gemini trines Libra and Aquarius. Everybody else is going to feel it in some way, but those are the ones that are really going to have a change that really shows up. You know, the other ones, it's going to be like a supportive. If it's a sextile, it'll be kind of a peripheral if it's an inconjunct, or it'll feel really close to home if it's a semi-sextile. And we're going to go through every sign. I don't know why I said we. I'm going to go through every sign, and I'm going to let you know the birthdays of that sign that will be feeling it the most right now, because it's going to get to 3 degrees Gemini. I don't have my ephemeris on me. 3 degrees Gemini, and then it swings back into Taurus for 6 months, and then it comes back out. So let's begin. Let's start with like the easy ones, the easy feeling ones. So Aries and Leo, you'll get a sextile from Uranus. And a sextile is a supportive aspect. It creates openings and invitations to change that feel energizing and timely. You know, you're going to be feeling like, oh, this is actually right on time, even if it feels a little bit nerve-wracking or scary. So Aries born March 20th to the 24th, and Leo's born July 23rd to the 27th. You all will be feeling it immediately. The rest of you will have to wait until Uranus gets closer to your sun. But right now, those are the signs that you should start feeling something happening. So I want you to expect inspiration, new ideas, and shifts in how you express your identity. You may feel more alert, more interested in learning or speaking out, and this is an excellent time to explore new networks, technologies, or creative collaborations that challenge the way you've always done things without destabilizing you, because sextile is supportive. And you also have a trine happening from Neptune, which is probably going to make everything feel a little bit more dreamy and actually might even be charitable. Some of you might be going into some kind of charity or maybe even like a new religious pursuit, but we're not talking about Neptune yet. So now let's talk about the trines, which is another easy aspect, but it's even more changing, I'd say, than sextiles, because sextiles you have to say yes to. It's like an opportunity. You're being handed an opportunity, while a trine is more like a slide. Something is sliding into your life. It'll just sort of happen to you, but it goes along with who you are and what you've wanted. So trines allow this change to happen easily. The evolution flows with minimal resistance, activating strengths you may not have fully tapped into yet. So Libras that are born September 23rd to the 27th, and Aquarians from January 20th to the 24th. You may find yourself more mentally engaged, socially curious, and ready to embrace new ways of thinking. This could be an excellent period of time for networking, teaching, writing, or working with new technologies. And there's a sense that life is shifting to meet your growth without a fight. Okay, let's go into the main zodiac that's going to be experiencing this, which is Gemini, because Uranus will be in your sign for 7 years, and that's called a conjunction. And a conjunction is when one planet meets another planet, be it in the sky or be it on another chart, like your natal chart. So Uranus is about to conjunct your sun, especially if it will only conjunct your sun if you're from May 21st to the 24th. And then eventually it will conjunct all of your suns, but I don't want everybody to feel like this is about to happen. You all might be feeling a rumble. You all might be feeling, a desire for change, but change will inevitably happen when it reaches your sun. So when Uranus touches your sun by conjunction, your identity becomes the focal point of change, your identity. This is your awakening. You may feel restless, uncertain, even destabilized. What used to define you may no longer fit. Career, relationships, self-image, anything tied to your old identity may begin to unravel. But in its place, something new is forming. And this is your chance to reinvent yourself, not impulsively, but authentically. So let's go to the more difficult aspects. They're called squares. And squares usually come up as an inner conflict. It can have to do with somebody else. Oppositions are more about a relationship, but squares absolutely have to do with relationships if it's something that you're in conflict with, right? So squares are going to happen to Virgo and Pisces, and especially the birthdays of August 23rd to the 27th and February 19th to the 23rd. You all are going to be feeling it first. And like I said, squares create stress and they demand your movement. They demand a decision. This isn't optional change. It's friction that must be addressed. It's not going to go away, basically. You may feel overwhelmed mentally or emotionally. And for Virgos, there may be anxiety around things not going according to plan. For Pisces, this could feel like the external world is moving too fast for your inner rhythm. These are invitations to grow beyond old patterns of thought or escape by facing the noise head on and finding new strategies for integration. And then we'll get to Sagittarius, which is opposite Gemini. And this is where you deal with more of a relationship. And this could be a relationship between you and your partner, you and your career, you and your family, especially maybe your father. And this is the disruptions come from that relationship. So oppositions show us what we can't see in ourselves. That's what's happening. They often come through other people or circumstances that push back against us, right? That's the mirror. So Sagittarius, if you were born November 22nd to the 26th, you are going to feel this first. And you could feel challenged to defend your worldview, your beliefs, or style of communication. Disagreements could arise, or you may find your usual optimism is shaken. And this is a time to reflect on how you communicate your truth and whether it still serves your growth. Now we're going to get into the signs. They're going to feel Uranus, but it may be more in a peripheral way, or it's kind of like happening next to you sort of way, or maybe it's happening around you. So semi-sextiles they're subtle. And Uranus is making a semi-sextile to both Taurus and Cancer. And both of you are going to feel like it's a low-level tension or unease rather than direct events happening to you. So if you're a Taurus from April 20th to the 24th, or if you're a Cancer from June 21st to the 24th, you may notice that what once made sense no longer feels right to you. Your thoughts or patterns of relating may need subtle realignment. These changes aren't loud, but over time they can reshape your trajectory. And the inconjuncts, which is 150 degrees from Gemini, an inconjunct is 150 degrees from one sign to another. And this is like an awkward feeling. These are two signs that don't understand each other on any level. And the two signs are Scorpio and Capricorn, and the birthdays that are going to feel it immediately are October 23rd to the 27th and December 22nd to the 26th. Inconjuncts require adjustments in areas that don't naturally work together. It's a process of learning how to respond when the old maps don't apply. So Scorpio and Capricorn, you may find that the strategies that once kept you safe, privacy, control, discipline, they aren't as effective in this new mental climate. You'll need to develop new cognitive tools, communication habits, or social frameworks to keep up with what's unfolding. So, in conclusion, Uranus in Gemini marks a period of intense mental and social evolution. We are being asked to adapt, not just by learning new things, but by unlearning old ways of thinking that no longer serve us. The mind is not just a tool, it's a landscape that must now be tilled, challenged, and rewired. If your birthdays fall within the dates listed, pay close attention to what begins to shift in the next 6 to 12 months. And for everyone else, know that your time is coming, okay? Uranus moves slowly, but it's going to impact you, and the impact is permanent. This only happens once in your lifetime. If it's a conjunction or an opposition, simply because it takes 84 years for Uranus to get back to the same sign. So trines will happen twice. Sextiles can happen twice. If you're a Gemini, this is probably happening once. If you're a Sagittarius, this is probably happening once. Okay? And even if you're any of these other signs, it takes a long time for Uranus to get back to them. So everyone try to take advantage of or tried to embrace the experiences that are coming up because there's really nothing you can do about it. You're just going to have your mind blown in some kind of way. And the important thing is to remember that knowledge is power. And the more that you know about yourself and the more authentic you become, the better you can move through the world, the better you can, beat the video game, because that's the real magic, is knowing how you impact the world. So I'll be seeing you all soon. You'll hear our next episode of Spiritual Context for Worldly Chaos tomorrow. And then we have the full moon in Capricorn. So you'll hear my analysis of that on Thursday. And then Saturn's going retrograde on Saturday, I think. And that's going to go, Saturn's going to go back into Pisces because it's only sitting at 1 degree Aries. So it'll go back into Pisces for a while, and then it's going to come back out into Aries for the next 2 years. So yeah, I will see you soon. Take care, everybody.